Imagine looking up at the night sky and knowing that somewhere above you, there is a giant human-made structure flying around Earth. Not a rocket, not a satellite the size of a car, but something so large that it is about the size of a football field. It moves faster than a bullet. It crosses the sky again and again. And inside it, humans live, work, sleep, eat, exercise, and do science while floating hundreds of kilometers above Earth. This is the International Space Station, the biggest thing humans have ever built in space. But here is the insane part. We did not build it on Earth and then launch it. That would have been impossible. Instead, humanity built it piece by piece, in orbit, while it was flying around the planet at incredible speed. So how did we build something this huge in space? And why did humans spend decades creating a floating laboratory above Earth? Let's find out. Before the International Space Station, going to space was very different. The first astronauts did not live inside huge laboratories. They flew inside tiny capsules, surrounded by switches, metal walls, and almost no room to move. Early spacecraft were built for survival, not comfort. There was no big kitchen, no gym, no science lab with windows looking down at Earth. Astronauts could only stay in space for a limited time because the spacecraft were small, cramped, and extremely difficult to live in. But scientists had a bigger dream. What if humans could live in space for weeks, months, maybe even years? What if space was not just a place to visit, but a place to work? To do that, humanity needed something much bigger than a capsule, a real space station, a permanent laboratory above Earth. A place where astronauts from different countries could live together, test new technology, and study how life works beyond our planet. That dream became the International Space Station. But building it was one of the hardest construction projects in human history. Because you cannot just build a massive space station on Earth and launch it in one piece. It would be too big, too heavy. And no rocket could lift it all at once. So, engineers had to think differently. They built the station in sections, one module at a time. Rockets and space shuttles carried pieces of the station into orbit. Then astronauts had to connect them together in space. Imagine trying to build a house. But the house is flying around Earth every 90 minutes. Every tool floats. Every bolt floats. Every cable floats. And outside, there is no air, no ground, and no second chance. That is what astronauts had to deal with. Piece by piece, the station grew. New rooms were added. Solar panels unfolded. Robotic arms moved heavy parts into place. Astronauts went outside in spacesuits and connected cables, repaired systems, and attached new modules. It was like building the most expensive Lego set ever made. Except one mistake could be deadly. The International Space Station slowly became larger and more complex. What started as separate pieces turned into a massive orbiting laboratory. And today, it is one of the most impressive things humans have ever created. But how big is it really? The International Space Station is huge. It is about as long as a football field. Its solar panels stretch wide like giant golden wings, and its mass is over 400,000 kilograms. That is heavier than hundreds of cars. But because it is in orbit, astronauts inside do not feel that weight. Everything floats. Pens float. Food floats. Water floats. Tools float. Even the astronauts float. From Earth, the ISS may look like a tiny moving star in the night sky. But up close, it is a giant structure made of laboratories, docking ports, living areas, solar arrays, radiators, robotic systems, and scientific equipment. It is not just one room. It is more like a small flying science city, and it is moving incredibly fast. The ISS travels around Earth at about 28,000 kilometers per hour. That means it orbits the entire planet roughly every 90 minutes. Astronauts on board can see many sunrises and sunsets in a single day. While we experience one sunrise in the morning, and one sunset in the evening. They can watch Earth change from night to day again and again. That is not science fiction. That is real life aboard the biggest thing humans have ever built in space. But life inside the station is not easy. There is no normal up or down. Astronauts float from one module to another. They sleep in small sleeping bags attached to the wall. They eat food from packages. They drink carefully, because liquids do not pour normally in space. Water becomes floating bubbles. A small mistake can send food, tools, or equipment drifting across the room. Even simple things become complicated. Brushing your teeth, washing your hair, using the bathroom, changing clothes. Moving from one place to another. On Earth, gravity helps us with almost everything. In space, astronauts have to relearn normal life. They also have to exercise every day, because without gravity, the human body starts to change. Muscles can weaken, bones can lose strength. The body begins to adapt to a world where nothing has weight. That is one reason the ISS is so important. It teaches scientists what happens to humans during long space missions. If we want people to travel to the Moon, Mars, or even farther one day, we need to understand how the human body survives in space. The International Space Station is not just a place where astronauts live. It is a giant science laboratory. Experiments happen there every day. Scientists study plants, materials, medicine, physics, human health, water, fire, and technology. Some experiments are only possible in microgravity. That means they cannot be done the same way on Earth. On the ISS, researchers can see how plants grow when there is no normal up or down. They can study how fluids move when they do not fall. They can test new materials. They can observe Earth's weather, oceans, forests, storms, and atmosphere from above. The station is like a window into two worlds at the same time. It helps us understand space, and it helps us understand our own planet. From the outside, the ISS looks like a machine, but inside, it is full of human stories. Astronauts from different countries live together in a space smaller than most people imagine. They share meals. They solve problems. They repair equipment. They run experiments. They talk to people on Earth. And every day they look out the windows and see something most humans will never see with their own eyes. Earth from space. From the International Space Station, our planet looks fragile and beautiful. Blue oceans, white clouds, thin glowing atmosphere, bright city lights on the night side, no borders visible from orbit. Just one planet, one home. Many astronauts say that seeing Earth from space changes the way they think. Because, from up there, Earth does not look divided. It looks connected, small, delicate, alive, and that may be one of the most powerful things the ISS gives us. Not just science, not just technology, but perspective. The station reminds us that humans are capable of working together on something bigger than one country. The ISS was built by many nations, many engineers, many scientists, and many astronauts. It is a symbol of cooperation, a giant machine flying above Earth, created by people who believed that space could bring humanity together. And even though the station will not last forever, its legacy will continue. The knowledge we gained from the ISS will help build future space stations, maybe around the Moon, maybe on the way to Mars, maybe one day above another world. The International Space Station is not the final step. It is a stepping stone, a bridge between Earth and the future of human space exploration. It showed us that people can live and work in space for long periods of time. It showed us that massive structures can be assembled in orbit. It showed us that science can continue hundreds of kilometers above the planet. And it showed us that when humans work together, we can build something extraordinary. So the biggest thing humans have ever built in space is not a weapon, not a war machine, not a giant spaceship from science fiction. It is a floating science lab, a home above Earth, a symbol of teamwork, and one of the greatest engineering achievements in human history. The International Space Station is proof that humans are not just dreamers. We are builders. We are explorers. And sometimes, we build the future while floating above the world. Stay curious.